Hello and welcome everybody back to the League of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Kebablord here, and yeah, as you can see, new game, Stronghold Warlords, just released yesterday. And those of you who know me know that there are exactly two franchises that are always battling for, well, how much I like them. And yeah, those are of course Anno and Stronghold. Fun fact, Stronghold Crusader, mind you the first one, and Anno 1404 are in a constant struggle of which of them both is actually my favorite game of all time, because I play both quite often. So I now had the chance to play Stronghold Warlords a couple of hours now, and as we all know, the Stronghold series has not been at peak performance for the past games, especially since the transition to 3D. And I can already say so much. Of all the 3D strongholds, Warlords is by far my favorite one. Even beating Stronghold 2 into the dust. By far, as I said, because the developers found solutions for many issues that have been plaguing the series since transitioning to 3D. And most of those solutions are not elegant, but they work. And that is why Stronghold Warlords is, in my opinion, a lot of fun. So, before we jump straight into the game, I want to just do a little skirmish battle, a 1v1, to demonstrate you the game a little bit. I want to do a little disclaimer. So, the first one is I have been able to edit the single-player unit cap, because the normal unit cap is actually quite low. The game is not made for huge armies. And that is actually a bit annoying, especially when playing on large maps with several AIs. In a 1v1 or with 3 players or 4 players, it's actually quite okay. But yeah, I increased it significantly, and I guess I will also very soon create a guide on how to increase the unit cap for those who don't know. And it is actually super easy. And yeah, the second one is I played the game for now around 6 hours. Steam will tell you, for those of you who have me in their Steam list, that I have been playing for over 10 hours now. The reason is simple, because I also played the demo, especially for PAX East, Gamescom, and so on. So I already know quite a bit about the game. So let's jump into Custom Skirmish. And yes, for 1v1 Commanders is actually my favorite map, because we have quite a lot of Warlords. And that is the main new system that the game has introduced, meaning they are little sub-AIs that we can command and that we are going to do battle against, and battling for, in order to gain their favor and yeah, have them fight for us. We have 4 AIs at the beginning available. I'm pretty sure new AI characters will be added via DLCs. And yes, this amount might seem low, but they all have difficulty settings, and compared to all other Stronghold games, they actually work quite good, I might add. So I'm going to tell a little bit about them. So Thuc Phan is an AI that favors early pressure, so he will swarm you with cheap units, and is actually not to be underestimated. And in the later game, he will also use a couple of medium units, so it's actually quite balanced later on, and he will also go for very early conquering a lot of Warlords, and then trying to target your economy. So if you enjoy being rushed, then he is your man. But also, it is a lot of fun to play against him, especially when you have area of effect units and area of effect weapons, because physics. It just looks awesome to hurl dozens of units through the air. Then we have Qin Shi Huang, who is a medium AI. In my opinion, his unit composition is quite weak. He uses a couple of medium units, so a lot of archers and axemen and a couple of elite units, but not many. And he's actually quite easy to counter, so I actually consider him the weakest AI. Then we have Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who is a samurai, favors Japanese units, and will go for stealth attacks and hit-and-run tactics. So he will use a lot of monks and ninjas and so on. So he will basically snack away warlords from you. And he also has quite a strong economy. But the units he uses are actually quite weak against ranged attacks. aside from the samurai, who are actually very well armored, but he was only using very few of them. So he's more medium AI. I would say he's the second strongest. And to my real surprise, the strongest one is Genghis Khan. I actually thought he would be the weakest one, or going for rushes and hit-and-run attacks, but I've seen in previous games how he actually defeated all the other AIs. And the reason is simple. He spams a lot. He spams horse archers, heavy cavalry, and siege units. And that actually makes him quite strong, because first he's going to clean your towers from defenders, so that his siege units can break through your wall, and then he will go through with a couple of elite units and heavy cavalry, clearing the courtyard, and then will use the elite units to kill your lord, unless he shoots him with his horse archers. So Genghis is super aggressive, and I think I will go for Thuc Phan in this match. Over time, I will probably do all videos with all four. And yeah, here we can set the difficulty. I will set him on hard, because otherwise it would be no fun. Haha, fun, Thuc Phan. Ha ha ha. So, and here we can set additional options. We can, in the start settings, set how many resources, food, weapons, gold, and troops we have, and diplomacy points. I set the autosave interval to 30 minutes because, unfortunately, the autosave system of this game is far from being great. It simply, well, pauses the game for 2 seconds while saving, and that can really kill the dynamics of a game. Therefore, I set it to 30 minutes. And yeah. In the multiplayer, we would have some additional options, but that is not really necessary here. Also 1000 gold, that is okay, that is not too much. That is basically 2 elite mercenaries, hashtag generals. And yeah, then let's start.
Place your stockpile, Highness.
So, and the base gameplay is typical Stronghold. So we have our keep here in the middle, where we can also place our troops on. And yeah, the game doesn't really start until I place a stockpile, so there's that. That is why I can take a look at the map first. Also, I have to use my arrow keys for navigating, because unfortunately I cannot fix my cursor to a window. So it would always go to the second screen as soon as I want to scroll to the right, and that is actually really annoying. So here on the map we have all these warlords, 7 of these on this map. And yeah, they all have some basic defense, and we can conquer them either by force or via diplomacy at a later point. And then we have our 2 main regions with all necessary resources. We have saltpeter, we have stone, we have iron, we have wood. And as you can see, especially compared to Crusader II, the game looks much better. Still super outdated. That is the thing. It would have looked outdated 10 years ago. But it all works pretty well together. And that is something that actually surprised me a little bit, because since the transition to 3D after Stronghold 2, there has not been much visual quality, and here it is on a level where I say it's sometimes quite nice looking. So it is very much okay, yeah. So it's not really ugly, but not super beautiful, and does not have much of the technical prowess that it could have. Mostly caused by the engine. They are using the Vision engine, and I know that piece of technology, and in my opinion it's a piece of shit, because it's really hard to use. It was not created with artists and designers in mind. But it can actually create super nice visual results, as we have seen on Arcania Gothic 4. The game was meh, but the visuals were great, and performance was also quite okay. And Settlers 7 was also created using the Vision engine, where we have large maps and thousands of actors. So yeah, the engine is capable, but unfortunately small studios, as I've also seen on other projects, are not really capable of handling it, because it is not easy to use. Yeah, I worked with it myself. Was not fun. So I'm going to place granary quite close, as well as the stockpile. I want to have a centralized economy, and will then build a wall around that. So first we start buying off some wood, because we want to build a little bit of stuff. So first we start with a couple of wood camps, where we will get all that little bamboo from the forest here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That should do the trick for the beginning. We have a couple of houses available. The quality of the houses determines how much of a bonus we get on our happiness of people. If we have more people than we have accumulated housing quality, then we get a negative factor. If we have a positive comfort value compared to the amount of total people living in our castle, we get a positive value, as we can see here with a plus 10.
You're under attack.
Yeah, we are not really under attack. It's just the warlord attacking one of our woodcutters. So, and we have different houses who offer different amount of quality / comfort, and but all offer the same amount of capacity. So if we want to rush a lot of people at the very early game, then we can simply do that by building a couple of hovels which look quite ugly, but then we will have to deal with a negative effect. Okay, so food. Our people demand rice, and they shall get rice. So that should actually be enough for the beginning. I will also build another house just to make sure. And then I will now start getting some stone.
A water buffalo tether is required to bring stone to the stockpile, Your Highness.
Yeah. So let's take a look at Thuc, who is building a very small castle. Usually his castles are way larger. And as I said, the AI itself is actually working quite well. It does not appear to be cheating. Maybe a little bit in regards of economy. And also, while it always uses the same castle shape and economy, it actually adapts it to the map size. So the more size is available, the bigger the castle will be. So that is also why I'm a bit surprised that the castle here is so small. But I've already seen Thuc Phan building really huge castles with everything inside, so it was really hard to set the economy aflame. Okay then, so time to increase the game speed a little bit. So we are going to need a lot of iron later on. And due to us having such a positive effect on housing, we can actually increase the tax rate. Now we will get more money per second. Because against Thuc, I will need money early on to recruit mercenaries should he go for an early rush against me. As you can see, he already has quite a lot of cheap units amassed. And is also building up quite a bit of an economy. So far, especially compared to Stronger Crusader, I have not seen a castle that did not work. The worst thing that I've seen so far was... oh, shit. I started with a rice production too late. Okay, we fixed that. Yeah, it would have been nice if I would have received a warning from the game. I've seen once a woodcutter blocking way for part of the economy, but it was nothing too critical. Especially when you think about Stronghold Crusader, where you had quite often castles that simply did not work at all. Like, for example, the snake digging a moat, blocking the way out of a castle, and therefore having no food production. Or in Stronghold 2, where one AI was so bad that it actually never managed to amass an army for an attack. Hashtag the king, worst AI ever. Was basically only there to receive a beating and maybe to attack with a patrol consisting of 2 pikemen, and that's it. Not really a strong enemy. And here we have way fewer enemies than in the other Stronghold games, but all 4 work. I had quite fun with them so far. So if Firefly is able to maintain the level of functionality for the DLCs, then I see with a couple of DLCs coming that we will have a lot of fun with additional AIs. I really hope they are going for that model. I mean, in Stronger Crusader 2 they also went for AI DLCs. And that also worked quite well. Okay, so we have only 5 people available. That is not enough. So, time to build a superior house. And also time to build a military academy. So, also a new system that they introduced was a road system. Basically, you can now connect buildings via roads, and consulates, embassies, who are used to get diplomacy points, which you can use to order your warlords around. And you can also connect temples with them, with a keep. And that will basically increase the amount of happiness that you get from temples. And also consulates and embassies connected to the keep will also have an increased diplomacy point output. And since you receive, and that is where the system actually gets quite clever, you get a spirituality happiness bonus from temples the more buildings you have in range, and those are housing and production. Meaning you will try to spread the temples all around your castle or town, depending on your build style. And since you want to connect them with road, it means that you will automatically build a road network that goes through your entire castle. And that is just pretty neat and clever design, if you ask me. So, Thuc is having more soldiers. And the economy is growing. Okay, Thuc. And I will use the warrior monks to get my first warlord. Very big advantage of the warrior monks is they are fast and they deal area of attack damage. But they can easily be countered by armored units and by ranged units. But here we have only light units. And the warlord itself alone is not strong enough. So, bam! Yeah, area of effect damage. I call this unit type in these masters the Shredder. But again, it's not overpowered. Actually, it is quite easy to counter them. Overall, the balance of the units in this game is pretty solid. Also something that really surprised me, especially after Crusader II, where their wishes were simply way too strong, as well as the knights. Okay, so do we by now have a bit more wood available? Oh, Thuc is also starting to get different warlords on his side. Yeah, also something that the AI does now, dynamically using defense units and attack units together on the walls. So it will switch around a couple of times. So before an attack, it will amass all the units on the walls and so on, and then use the units from there for the attack. So during the attack, the castle is actually less defended, which is more realistic. And also gives the enemy castles quite a lot of movement. So, and time to get my first spirituality by building a little Buddha statue. So, as we can see on that icon, the Buddha is now connected, and I receive spirituality bonus, because I have now 21% covered. Okay, Thuc is now really getting a lot of units. That is a little concerning, to say the least. I really need to get the central warlord. But in order to upgrade him, I am going to need a lot of diplomacy points. So, I will go for diplomacy points first, meaning I will build embassies. So, those are limited. You can only build 2 of them, which is in my opinion rather okay. And I love the soundtrack of this game. So, and the AI is actually using the warlords, as we can see here on these icons. So for example, he is using the pig in order to get some food. some additional food. Here, more diplomacy points in order to bribe some warlords. And there we can see Thuc preparing a medium-sized attack, actually.
Not enough goods.
But as I said, he's using cheap units, and he's probably aiming for the pig on my side.
This unit.
My mind is clear.
Blowpipe soldiers. The cheapest way of ranged attacks. The cheapest way, not cheapest. What? It's way too early in the morning. Okay, what am I going to do next? I'm going to build a couple of more houses just in case, and we'll soon start with the weapon production. Also, the Warlord system actually means that VI is going to focus on them first, and after that on me, meaning I am quite safe against rushes, though I have a quick responsive force. Yeah, I'm not allowing you to get the turtle on your side. Time for the Shredder to attack! And go! And now get me Warlord. So, now we have a turtle, and we can upgrade him. So, as we can see here, center of the map. So, time to upgrade the castle. And there you can see, the turtle is now building stuff. And apparently Thuc has also upgraded the horse warlord. Oh, he has built a siege camp as well. Okay, I need to use my responsive force.
I will live each step. I will give no more pain than I can handle. This is no path to peace.
So for the turtle, upgrade, and then upgrade the castle. Now comes a thicker wall. So, also something that is completely new to 3D Strongholds is that each unit now has collision. That means you now have, finally, during melee combats, a proper front line. And why is that so important? Quite easy. Especially in Stronghold 2, units could cobble into each other, and then you had one big blob of doom, like 100 knights on the same position, which would simply shred everything. And then they had done stuff with physics. Like, for example, a catapult shooting all the units. So if you had, for example, these 100 knights who are on one position, going up a tower in order to defeat an enemy ballista, if you are besieging an enemy castle. And, well, it could happen that the ballista would shoot for 100 knights and all 100 would be impaled by the same bolt and would fly off the wall and die, losing 100 units to one arrow. And that, in my opinion, made sieges pretty much a pain in the ass in Stronghold 2. I really did not enjoy it, to besiege enemy castles. I enjoyed defending my own castles because, well, those effects could actually be applied to my own units, to my own defensive units, but still, that was super clunky, and I can see here that I did a little oopsie. Okay, sorry. We're going to work out something else. Yeah, we will do it that way. Okay, focus attacking. I'm ordering the turtle now to create some defensive units. And there we can now see the archers going on the walls. And as we can also see, compared to some other Stronghold games, walls are strong. And that actually fits the theme of Asian fortresses. Because most Asian cultures in the medieval ages, well, in their form of the medieval ages, actually did not build castles as we did, but instead used walled towns. And they relied on walls simply being way stronger by filling them with clay and other material so they would not collapse. Only the outer shell was consisting of stone. And that was actually a fairly effective form of building walls. And of course there are exceptions. For example, Japanese castles, they had a sort of terrace building with different plateaus and so on. But also there, different kind of castle building than we did. So having stronger walls actually fits the theme quite well. Okay, so we now have our maximum of diplomacy point generation. Time to upgrade the turtle further. And there we can see now some automated turrets being added. And Thuc is now building a couple of defensive towers. As we can see, quite huge economy. What I also like, especially when building defenses, is that the game now finally tells you the exact effect. So, for example, when you build a tower, you can see here in the tooltip what exactly it's doing. There we can see on the large tower we can put up to 25 people up there. And those have 35% increased range bonus and a 25% chance of not being hit. Oh, would you look at that? He is going for the Ox Warlord. So yeah, each Warlord has a different castle and a different personality. As you can see here, the horse builds differently than the turtle. And the horse also grants different bonuses. Here you can, for example, get auxiliary cavalry as help. And also it is able to raid other castles. And there we see the pig Warlord. With also a different castle, and that is one that produces food. Is he going for the crane?
I am at one.
He is! Time for the shredder!
Another breath.
So as we can see, the enemy units are standing up again because that was only a knockback area of effect.
My mind is clear.
So don't worry, they are not killing that fast. Especially against armored units, they need a very long time in order to kill them, though they are knocking them down. But again, frontline principle. Every unit has a collision, meaning they can't get past the armored units, meaning they can be shot down by ranged units from the distance. All that stuff that is actually standard in other strategy games, but for Stronghold is actually something new. So, time to upgrade the turtle further. And now we get tower. And a second tower.
As you wish.
Yeah, just put some more soldiers.
As you wish.
Okay, so that works.
As you wish.
And that is now the turtle with its maximum upgraded castle. That actually looks quite nice. But we should now use the time to focus on our own castle again. So the next thing that we are going to work on is actually a proper weapon production. Or are we? I might want to go for a bit of spirituality first. Yeah, time to build here a huge temple. Now we get here +9. Nice, meaning we can increase the taxes again.
I serve a new master.
Oh, that is a big spam attack.
A message from Thuc Phan.
I will unite our people. I will fight the tyrants. I will carve out an empire.
Yeah, Thuc. Nice try.
How may I serve?
少尉，我累了，我们会再次战死。
So, archers against blowpipe warriors, and yes, ranged units can now also melee attack buildings. Okay then. I actually want to build the next temple.
I serve a new master.
You're now going to attack me, right? Yeah, you are.
还有指令
Okay.
吗？开始前进。
Master, I will free them from their delusions.
Hey, that's my temple. Also, progress in regards to game balancing. Buildings are now not instantly destroyed anymore. That was always so annoying.
I am prepared.
Okay, so we now really have to start with the weapon production. Otherwise, we are going to face a couple of issues in the long run. So here we are now starting to create crossbows and armors. So I will place the armory here. Another medium-sized army.
Not enough gold to train this unit.
I am ready. My mind is clear.
And now with the first medium units in there, and this is not a true army, it's just a raid.
I begin the journey. I will give no more pain than
But only light melee units, so easy play for my warrior monks.
I am imbalanced.
Okay, you know what? I will get the pig for myself in order to defend that position a bit easier.
I am at one. How may I serve?
So, and as you can also see on all these castles, the AI is also upgrading its warlords. So it actually knows how to use the warlord system. Unfortunately, it does not know how to use roads. Castle upgrades take a bit of time. Okay then. Time to build here another artillerator. There, Thuc is not even trying to get the turtle. He knows that he couldn't defeat it properly. So, time to upgrade the pig further. With double walls. Later we will also snack the orcs for ourselves. So next thing that we will get is a proper sword production. I want all these sweet heavy units under my control. So, and just for the sake of decoration, I'm also placing roads in here. And yes, you heard right, decoration. Whoa.
approach.
The attacks get bigger by the minute.
Not enough gold to train this unit.
I am imbalanced. I accept the need for this.
So, shot in the back and attacked at the front. So, and in earlier games, they could simply cobble through.
Yes.
So, time to increase the food variety that we have in our castle. A bit more vegetables. Ah, of course, I misclicked. And now also a bit of tea. So now also no surprise attacks from the right side anymore. Okay, Thuc is preparing the next army. So much economy. Would be a shame if someone burned it. So, can we upgrade the pig further? Yes, we can. Now we get also here automated turrets, additional to the couple of archers.
有何指令？
Okay, I will reposition the quarries a little bit. And then I will put the wall down here and probably also build another temple there. Ah, that won't really work. For a very simple reason, there's a major issue with the road system. You cannot build roads through gates. I really hope they patch that. That way I am now forced to build the entire economy inside the walls and cannot get built in chambers or districts as I would usually do, because, well, you know me, everything has to be organized via districts. I need my districts! Oh, Thuc, can we talk about it?
What are your thoughts?
Quite many medium units you have in there. Additionally to your cavalry. Also, one thing that I notice is that the range display of the temples is not really precision
The
work.
spirit is ready. I am here. I will lift each step.
Time for the big shredder! And yeah, there we can see one of the new siege weapons, the fire arrow card, which deals area of effect damage to light units.
How may I serve?
Okay then. Can we upgrade the pig further? Nope, we can't. Now it's time to upgrade the crane. The crane can be used to boost our diplomacy point generation and also gold generation. So, where am I going to place our barracks? Guess I will do so here. And now the barracks are part of the wall. As we can also see here with the stairs. So units that we can recruit are actually the Spear Tribesmen and the Blowpipe Tribesmen, so very cheap units that don't even require weapons. That is basically what Thuc is doing. We can then get the auxiliary people, like Axemen, which are basically like the Macemen in the first Stronghold. And the archers, well, basic archers, nothing new. And we also have auxiliary cavalry, which is basically spearmen, but in super fast. Then we have the Imperial troops, consisting of the Imperial warrior, which is basically a heavy swordsman. Then we have the bannerman, which is a swordsman that also adds a buff to units around him. Seriously.
I follow the path. Only in death can you never truly be deceived.
Are you going for my granary?
Their power is a weakness disguised as strength.
So, but yeah, as you can see, the AI actually finds weak spots and attacks them.
I choose to walk.
So, for a Stronghold game, quite clever. So yeah, that gives an attack buff to a small area to nearby units, and then we have the Imperial Crossbowman, which is actually quite self-explanatory. Then we have the Imperial Guardsman, which is basically an area of effect heavy unit, though very slow, so not too overpowered. And then we have the Imperial Cavalry, which is basically like the Knights in Stronghold Crusader. And here in the Military Academy we have the Warrior Monks, we have Horse Archers. Both are pretty much straightforward. I mean, you've already seen what the monks can do. Then you have Ninjas, which are like the Assassins in Stronghold Crusader, but it's super fast, but also a bit weaker. Then you have the Fire Lancers, who do a deal area of effect damage, but take a lot of time in order to shoot. But there are no units who have resistance against fire, so they are very good at cracking open Imperial troops. Then you have Samurai, who are basically like the Imperial swordsmen, just a bit slower and more heavily armored. Also, they have a charge attack. And then you have a General, which is basically as strong as a Lord and gives in a huge radius a buff to enemy to nearby units. Okay then, I wanted to reposition those.
We need more stone, Highness.
And there we have now our walled town. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for the medium towers. Or are we going to build a shit ton of small towers? And basically do like the Caliph. No, I think we will just from time to time place a big tower. So, the academy I'm going to build somewhere else. Oh, I cannot build it on saltpeter deposits. That is good to know. And yeah, last but not least, I can also build a siege camp, which allows me, of course, to build siege weapons. And it's a bit inconsistent that this is the only building with a construction animation. And there you can see now proper archers, axemen and so on among the units.
Peasants needed, Highness.
How may I serve?
Also more siege weapons.
I am at 1.
So, food variety does not work as in Stronghold Crusader. Instead, you have to activate all of those independently, and they all independently give a bonus. Allowing us to raise the taxes even further.
I am in balance. Only in death can you never truly be deceived.
As you can also see, compared to Stronghold Crusader II, the performance is running better, but it's still far from being good. Basically, the bonus that we are having here is that it's only a 1v1, but with 8 players and with more units, it gets very quickly really laggy. And sometimes it even refuses to load save games, because it cannot deal with the amount of units that are on the field. So, yeah, in regards of performance, step forward, but still not there where it is supposed to be. And I think a reason for that is also that it is a 32-bit application, and that is stuff that that simply should not exist anymore nowadays. Meaning it only uses a maximum of 4 GB of RAM. And as we all know, 4 GB of RAM was also already a bottleneck for Anno 1404. There are our crossbowmen.
Others are demanding lower taxes. Now, or fairly soon at least.
Smaller taxes, but you are getting a lot in return for those taxes. How about you stop being such unthankful bastards? Like, seriously? Okay, now we got a tea house, meaning we can also give people tea. So, and I'm still going to build a temple here, though there's no proper road connection possible. Which is a goddamn shame, if you ask me. So what you could do, however, is that you place all the temples like in the corners of your castle and keep the rest of your economy like super close. Oh, he's trying to take the total now, and as you can see, he has quite many archers and medium troops. So he's stopping to use the super cheap shit. So, and another temple I shall build here. Getting rid of these wood camps. Alright, I wanted to upgrade the crane a little bit. Oh, sorry, that is not what I wanted. So, now we have done that.
My diplomats work tirelessly for you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
有新计划了，马上前往目的地，长官。
And soon we will be ready to attack Thuc and end this little demonstration of the game. So I'm also building one tower here in the back. Because I know from experience that the AI can also just move its units here to the back where it's not getting shot and then try to get through wards there. Already happened to me in the past.
长官，我们要采取行动了吗？
Okay, so there's another production line that we can get, and that is produce clothing for our people. So, 6 of those. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3. And now you can see how the performance is dropping down whenever large orders are given. Because that is now really where the game engine reaches its maximum. And unfortunately, they can't really switch the engine, because that is something that a lot of people are always saying, well, the engine is so bad, they should switch it. Like, for example, that is something that many people demand from Bethesda Softworks for the next Elder Scrolls. Hey, use a different engine, the one you're using is shit. And I'm like, god damn it, people, are you really so stupid? Engines are work environments. You cannot just switch your entire work environment in a matter of seconds. It basically means you have to relearn your to re-educate your entire team on the new work environment. And that takes time. And just a bit thing of math. Development is super expensive. A workspace costs an average around $5,000 a month. Give or take, depending on the country you're developing in. And that means, for example, during the development of Battlefield 3, which was in 2011, they had in part 300 people working on the game simultaneously. Meaning around 300 people that would have to relearn the entire process, because artists need the engine for importing, exporting stuff, especially lighting artists who are working inside the engine. You have game designers working in the engine, level designers and so on, and you have programmers working in the engine and testing out features and so on, and also sometimes even the quality assurance. Meaning 300 people times 5,000 means per month it did cost 1.5 million. That is quite a lot. And let's say you have around 50% of people who have to work in the engine, meaning you would have around 750,000 per month it needs to relearn the new work environment, which can easily take half a year until you've reached the same efficiency that you had before. So now we are talking about roughly 4.5 million in cost. Of course, in regards of Firefly Studios, the team is way smaller, but again, it would basically be around 6 months that most of the people cannot be productive, and for a small indie team, that can quite often actually mean that the studio dies. And that is why they cannot simply relearn an engine. Otherwise I would also say, hey Firefly, please start using Unity. It is actually quite great for strategy games, as has been demonstrated by many strategy games out there. Even City Skylines was made in Unity. Also, Unity is quite easy to learn, well documented, and you can find a lot of experts out there who can help you. Because you definitely will not find many experts out there quite apt in the Heaven engine. But well, unfortunately, from a logistics side, it's not that easy. I can just hope that one day they will be capable of doing that. So the proper thing to do would actually be, if they have the financial resources for that, to use to have one guy learning the new engine and then at a later point teaching one other, then the two teach others, and so on. That way the entire team does not lose productivity, but only a small portion, and that portion should, in theory, be small enough that you can compensate it. Okay, Thuc. I'm also having quite a lot of gold now. Okay, let's bribe the horse. So the enemy invested 50, or has now 50 reputation. I am now going to auto-invest. We also have here a visual representation of who has how much renown or whatever, how much influence points. And once you have more than the enemy, you can demand obedience from the Lord. But again, that is something that the enemy can also do at any time. That is now a bit more cavalry than I'm used to. Nice. Switch of tactics.
The enemy approach.
And I know that I must now seem like the weird antagonist in a movie or video game who gets overly excited when the protagonist does something right. But that is actually the case here. I'm getting excited that the AI is actually doing something. Oh, now also here with the tower ballista. Nice! Automated towers as well. As you can see, a lot of units running around. Yeah, there's now the next attack coming. Nice. Also, it is a bit mean of me that I have a turtle in the middle. Because, well, only very few enemies can get through the turtle.
I am under attack.
Okay, so it now takes quite some time. Time to reinforce the turtle. Upgrading the castle a little bit. Also, I need to wait for the upgrade to be done before I can man the walls again. Yeah, the turtle should be able to handle it, especially with that back tower. So, time for go for Imperial Warriors. I'm also going to use Generals and Ninjas. And probably a shit ton of Horse Archers. Which are by totally no means OP in this game. You really need a lot of them and they are quite expensive. Okay, I'm really annoyed that I can't upgrade because the Lord is under attack. Please tell me that one's not too far away. Yes, it works. Okay, so now upgrade is done. Now we have here these palisades that give additional protection to archers.
As you wish.
Yeah, that is also something that we can build. We have here, of course, water pot in case something catches fire.
Have arrived.
Have arrived where? He's getting my turtle. That's mean.
我们朝何方疾行？
Okay, honey.
Farewell, master.
You want to take the turtle from me? I will get it back.
We are under attack.
That will be quite expensive.
Recruits needed, Highness.
I don't mind. So, and here we can see the acrobatic skill of the ninjas. As I said, way quicker than the assassins in Stronghold Crusader. Why even use a rope when you can just jump?
Give me a destination. A great vantage point.
That way. Whoa! Fuck! What the fuck?
Their life is over. Master, our blades will not rest. Our blades will not rest.
Okay, I actually hoped I would do a bit more. But that here is a little bit concerning, to be honest. So that way I should be able to defend myself a little bit.
长官来了。
So yeah, Thuc really surprised me with that maneuver. And that one here also has the potential to hurt. But hey, we have flaming arrows.
My mind is clear. I am visualizing a
And now he's clearing my towers because the AI has learned to actually use ranged units. You can see also the amount of siege weapons. And the physics engine. Yeah, this game is such a step forward compared to Crusader II. Also, since since Stronghold 2. Because again, Stronghold 2, while having a great atmosphere, also visuals for that time were great. It had so many issues like not properly working AIs, bad interface, lags, weird balancing.
准备就绪，齐听尊便。平原定会响起轰鸣声。
So let's hope these 62 horse archers are enough.
这是一场比赛，骑马真好。
Yeah, looks like it.
平原定会响起轰鸣声。
By the way, we are producing clothing, right? Good. Then, time to add another tax level to it. Did I adjust the market already? Yeah, auto buy and auto sell. Very good, meaning my economy is running.
Not enough gold to trade.
And Thuc is preparing the next army. So yes, the AI is actually getting more dangerous over time.
留守，效忠于你。
I am your disciple. Give me a destination. A great vantage point.
Okay then, and siege weapons that you can build. Leatherman, classic. Siege tower, classic. Though, not in Stronghold actually, because there are quite many iterations of these games where you simply cannot build siege towers. Which is just sad.
A simple task.
We are under attack.
So we will leave those Imperial guards there to remind the turtle about loyalty. And whenever Thuc should bribe him again, there will be instant a sword in the back of a warlord. Ah, he is defending the horse, I see. Doesn't want me to take over. I will need the crane on my side. Ooh, big order. Many troops. I will need the crane on my side so that I can build a siege camp here. Okay, I did not have that many performance issues when I was not recording.
Foreign diplomats have arrived.
Yeah, he is trying to get the turtle again. But, well, good luck with that. That will be interesting to see, actually. So yeah, without recording, the performance is actually better. Also, this is my old PC and not my new PC, so... I mean, it's weaker, per se, so... So, and he switched sides, and... well... you are mine. Better not forget it.
I am yours to command.
That is what I wanted to hear. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Recruits needed, Highness.
Whoa, that looks big again. This is actually the first time I'm playing a 1v1 with against Thuc on hard, and it might be that I underestimated him a little. But only a little. I mean, in the end, he stands no chance. So...
Peasants needed, Highness.
okay, what about the horse? Yeah, Thuc is also investing. That makes it hard. Then I would get the horse in the classic way. So also, thanks to every unit now having a collision, formations now finally make sense, because you can now form front lines. Yay. And there you can see all the units that Thuc otherwise would use for attack are now on the walls defending the castle. So attacking now would actually be quite suicidal. So, what do we know from our history lesson? Gates are structural weaknesses. And even while my people are being shot at, it's still more efficient to walk around and go for the gate.
Recruits needed, Highness.
Also, compared to stronger Crusader II, horse archers finally do something again. They're actually quite well balanced. They're super useful in attacks, but also not completely overpowered. And still quite expensive, because you get less money from selling than you do in stronger Crusader. And yeah, try to get horse archers just from tax money.
准备就绪，杀了这些异类。校尉，有何指令？
This building is inaccessible, Highness.
As you can see, now there's not 100 people attacking the Lord at the same time.
驻防城墙。
We are under attack.
Okay, so the horse belongs to me, and what can I do here? Well, I can request relief force or auxiliary cavalry. Though I'm not going to use it, though, with the amount of diplomacy points that I have available, I could get hundreds of them. But that is not what I'm aiming for.
Not enough goods.
Okay, then. Time to prepare for our crane.
Recruits needed, Highness.
And the economy has ever expanded. Now we can also hear with the temples and so on. Oh, now comes the attack force. I'm really curious to see that one. That's actually quite normal, but he's keeping quite many units. And as he's packing together a raid and an attack force. We'll probably go from here to my crane. And he's keeping a couple of units there for defensive purposes.
何方骑行？驾！骑马真好。平原定会响起轰鸣声。呀哈！踩踏野狗。
The good old mixture of Stronghold never gets old. Economy plus battle. Though in my opinion it is a bit too much on the battle side in this iteration of the franchise.
You will need a water buffalo tether to transport your iron to the stockpile.
我们等你下令。
Okay, now we got that. Yeah, time to go for the crane. I wish I would have a tiger warlord or anything like that on this map. I will probably dive into the map editor at a later point and then create my own maps. I love the soundtrack. I want to see everything burn!
准备骑行。
So, the main weakness that Thuc has is that he has nothing to counter heavily armored units. So I'm going for a couple of Mongolian generals and samurai.
要我怎么效劳？我们前进。遵命。
Together they should be able to get through everything that Thuc has. As soon as I have enough of them. I mean, he has ballistas for defensive purposes. And again, we can just take a look at all the people working. Though I wish the AI would also build roads. But that would probably be a bit too much in combination with the dynamic castle building. And the dynamic castle building is actually quite important, because otherwise the Warlords might have issues on maps that have different shapes. But I wish it would have been more like in Stronghold 2, where the AI worked very dynamically. You had a small castle, and depending on the position of the granary and the weapon and the armory and the stockpile, it would simply build the economic buildings where there was enough space. And that just worked. And it would have been great if the Warlords would do that. Also, if I demand resources from a Warlord, I would like if there's actually a cart going from the Warlord to the estate. Simply for the sake of immersion. Also, it would open a couple of more possibilities in regards of strategical prowess. Because then I would also have to defend my supply lines from enemy raids. Like, especially on maps with bridges and so on. And that is something that was already there in Stronghold 2. So you are now neutral because you have been killed by ranged units. Okay, time to get the crossbowman on that side. Now it's time to unleash the horrors of war onto Thuc Phan. Let's start with fireworks now. Yeah, right, I wanted to explain what kind of siege weapons exist. In regards of a siege tower, a cool thing is you can actually put up to 4 people on top of a siege tower, even before it scales the enemy walls. And that actually is quite interesting. Because it means you can, for example, put archers onto it, and then you have a mobile tower where they have more health and more range. So about the crane up here, you are going to repair your castle. Then you have the mantlets, which absorbs missile fire in a certain vicinity, so they can taunt enemy archers. Then you have a fire arrow card, which deals area of effect damage. You have a ballista, which, well, is highly effective against armored units. Then you have a fire ox, a suicide unit that simply explodes. Catapult, self-explanatory. Mortar, self-explanatory. Rocket launcher, actually a suicide siege weapon. And then, of course, the classical trebuchet. So, and go! Actually quite efficient against towers. So... and the fire starts spreading. Good. Main work is done. Time for the fire orcs. Why did it lag again? Because of that. Fuck! You maniac!
Recruits needed, Highness.
Oh well.
Peasants needed, Highness.
It seems like Thuc actually has quite many welds. But, well, we have fire that is invisible from that distance. Okay, that is a new one. So there we have the enemy army coming around. Together with a little raid force. And he's trying to retake the horse. Okay, I'm going to show you pain. I like Warlords. Alright, he has 2 armies! For fuck's sake! Okay, that was unexpected. 2 invasion forces at the same time. That is a new one to me. A pincer attack? Wow! I did not know the AI was capable of that. But okay. That invasion force has been destroyed. Good, I've used that bit of cavalry to go for the enemy siege weapons. As you can see, if you extend your unit cap quite a bit, the battles can get quite large. So, Thuc, how are you doing? Not so well, it seems.
Ready for battle. Advance the trebuchet.
He's simply recruiting, constructing new siege weapons. Also interesting that he's just walking around the turtle.
Long-range siege at your service.
Oh, I have a better idea. Let's hope this will work out. I mean, he's still busy with the fire. Yes! Direct hit. And that means the inside of his castle burns. Let's hope he takes his sweet ass time in order to extinguish the fire, so that it can spread. Signs are looking good so far.
Weapons needed, Highness. Peasants needed, Highness.
Also, trebuchets now take a sweet ass time in order to deal real damage against enemy castles, so sieges can actually take quite long. Also something that is more realistic. So, Thuc, what are you going to do, huh? Your economy is down. It will stay that way for quite a while.
We are under attack.
Last-ditch effort. Oh, those screams are music to my ears.
Long-range siege at your service.
Yes, now I sound like a psychopath.
What are you thinking? I have your orders.
So the samurais will now take their sweet-ass time in order to march.
Ready for battle. Trebuchet moving out. Advance the trebuchet.
you have me do?
Long-range siege at your service.
So as we can see, again, everything is animated.
I am yours to command. 怎么了？
Take us to the siege. Trebuchet moving out.
It's interesting that compared to the rest of the graphics, these bushes are way more detailed than the rest. Hashtag inconsistent art direction. Oh well, little details, I mean. They're probably made to be scaled a little bit more. I mean, those are effectively the same bushes. And again, it's everything not looking too bad. Maybe that area, yeah. Maybe they should have used a different kind of water here. Because the game can have beautiful water. Good. Now it's time to crack open the gates.
New tactics. Get the army moving.
Thuc Phan.
Do not lose heart, fellow warriors. We build and build again.
Okay, he's using sortie troops.
这是一场比赛。驾 Your faithful general. Battle plans. 紧急命令。
Yeah, I guess it's fair to say that the battle is now over. I mean, 1.5 hours. That is a long first impressions episode. And yes, I rarely use the Warlords in this episode. Because I'm mainly using the aggressive types of Warlords, and I... Actually, in my opinion, each Warlord should have an attack type. At least a little bit, like the Crane can send 5 archers. That is something that it can do. But if the others could also send something, like the Pig and so on, then... that would be great. Then you could use each Warlord for attack.
Message from Thuc Phan.
But hey,
Our struggle will continue.
so, we won! As we can see, by far, we killed 1,273 men, lost only 401. We destroyed 6 buildings, lost 1. We got a bit more gold, but the enemy had more peasants in their economy. That is interesting, because usually that is something that I get, meaning the economies are way greater than in Stronghold Crusader. But yeah. Here you can also see Greatest Lord, Army value, Buildings value, Warlords commanded, so you have quite a lot of statistics in the end. So, if I were to rate the game, depending on my first impression, I would say it's a very, very solid 7 out of 10. Because the base system works. It is, again, a bit clunky at times, and it lacks content, as we've seen. Not many AIs, not many maps. If they come with DLCs and so on, and some of the issues are fixed, like, for example, not being able to build roads through the gates, then I think the game has the potential to become a very solid 8 out of 10. And that is quite good. I will probably play it a bit more. I'm I mean, even in Crusader II I spent like 200 hours or something like that. I will definitely spend more time in Warlords if the DLCs are worthwhile. And as I said, in future episodes I will also showcase the other AIs. Thuc Phan was officially the weakest. So, especially Genghis Khan is going to keep me up for a while. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you can share my excitement for this game. And if you liked this video, then please consider giving it a little thumbs up. Would also be a great feedback for me. And yeah, type down in the comments if you have any direct feedback. And I would also like to know if you appreciate to sometimes see other games than just Anno on this channel. Though of course that does not mean that I'm going to interrupt Anno 1800. It's just that on my old PC, Anno 1800 simply does not have a good performance. I have to wait for the new one until I can go into proper recording again, which will hopefully be very soon. And yeah, of course I did also not forget the poll about which old Annos to play. That is all still on my list, it will happen. But yeah, now Stronghold Warlords a bit. Yeah, if you want to discuss with me directly or with the community, feel free to join the community Discord, for which you'll find the invitation in the video description down below. Please don't forget we have a little security system called the Nexus. No, the Vortex, sorry, not Nexus. Which is only a temporary channel. If you want to get access to the true server, then you have to type down a command in the chat line that you will find in the page where the rules of the server are being described. That way we can ensure that you are no bots and that you've read the rules. So yeah, read the rules, there you will see the command, type it in, and then you have access to the full server and can chat with me and the others. And yeah, if you want to get notified when the next video, be it Anno, be it Stronghold, or whatever is being uploaded, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and that notifications are activated. And with that, I say goodbye and see you next time. Bye bye.